Have you ever heard of a military plan so disastrous it became a defining moment for entire nations? Let's talk about the Gallipoli Campaign of World War I, a story of ambition, failure, and incredible human cost. In 1915, the Allied powers, including Britain and France, hatched a bold plan. They wanted to knock the Ottoman Empire out of the war. The key? Control the Dardanelles, a narrow strait that was the gateway to the Ottoman capital, Constantinople, and a vital supply route to their ally, Russia. The plan seemed simple enough: sail through, take the capital, and end a major front of the war. The first attempt in February 1915 was purely naval. A fleet of powerful Allied warships tried to force their way through the strait, but they were met with a surprisingly effective defense. Hidden Ottoman minefields and well-placed shore artillery batteries wreaked havoc on the fleet, sinking several ships and forcing a humiliating retreat. The naval route was a no-go, so the Allies switched to Plan B, a massive land invasion. On April 25, 1915, thousands of Allied soldiers stormed the beaches of the Gallipoli Peninsula. Among them were the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, the Anzacs. This landing at what became known as Anzac Cove would etch itself into the national identity of both Australia and New Zealand. But from the very beginning, things went wrong. The landings were chaotic, often on the wrong beaches against steep, rugged cliffs. The Ottoman defenders, led by commanders like Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, fought with fierce determination. Instead of the swift victory the Allies had envisioned, the campaign immediately bogged down. What followed was 8 grueling months of trench warfare, a brutal stalemate under the scorching sun. The conditions were horrific. Both sides suffered from disease, a lack of clean water, and constant shelling. The fighting was intense, with soldiers living and dying in a hellish landscape of trenches just meters apart. For very little ground gained, the cost in lives was astronomical. So why did it fail so spectacularly? Historians point to a perfect storm of errors. The Allies fatally underestimated the strength and resolve of the Ottoman army. Their own planning was deeply flawed, based on poor intelligence and a shocking lack of understanding of the terrain. They simply didn't commit enough resources to overcome the determined defense. By the end of 1915, with winter setting in and no hope of a breakthrough, the Allied command made the difficult decision to evacuate. In a rare success for the campaign, the withdrawal was executed brilliantly over December and January 1916, with very few casualties. But it was an admission of total defeat. The legacy of Gallipoli is immense. For the Allies, it was one of the greatest military disasters of the war, with around 250,000 casualties. For the Ottoman Empire, it was a monumental victory that boosted national morale. And for Australia and New Zealand, the sacrifice at Gallipoli became a cornerstone of their national consciousness. April the 25th is commemorated every year as Anzac Day, a solemn day of remembrance for all who have served and died in war. It stands as a powerful reminder of the true cost of conflict. Thanks for watching. If you found this story interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe for more dives into history. See you next time.